What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. 500 Bushwhacker testing again today. Today we're going to go through a sample of ammunition all the way from low to top end here. Low being 500 Special, which a lot of people don't even understand exists. But 500 Special is a shortened 500 Magnum case. It basically turns your 500 Magnum into a 500 Special, kind of like a 357 goes to a 38 Special, or a 44 Magnum goes to a 44 Special. We're gonna fire the Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum through this gun because this gun can handle that really well, especially due to this muzzle brake it has. And then we're gonna of course shoot what it was made for, the 500 Bushwhacker, which is the big boy, the beast, the one that fills this cylinder all the way up. So if you take a look closely, the size difference is tremendous. The 500 Special compared to the 500 Bushwhacker, just absolutely no comparison. This thing just hangs out right in the middle. So what I'm gonna do is demonstrate this revolver going from first, its hottest loading, to the 500 Magnum loading, to the 500 Special loading, so that you can see the decrease in power. You'll be able to see what the maximum is first, and then you're gonna see how it gets more manageable as it goes down. I think you guys are gonna be really surprised by the time we get to this one. If any of you haven't watched our videos on the 500 Bushwhacker, you're gonna be surprised by this one too. These cartridges here, these big long ones, they are no joke. For anybody that doesn't understand what this is the 500 Bushwhacker, which used to be a 500 Magnum BFR. So a company called TII Armory takes these Bushwhackers, or these BFRs, and turns them into Bushwhackers. They remount the cylinder to accept this longer cartridge. The regular 500 Smith & Wesson only partially fills this cylinder up. They finished filling that cylinder up. In some loadings, they're getting basically double the power of a 500 Magnum, and in some loadings, they're getting more velocity than a 460 Magnum. So this thing right here is the new king of power and velocity as far as a wheel gun. But today we just want to demonstrate its usability with all of these different cartridges. We're just going to be shooting the steel plate today so that we get a lot of audible feedback, but we also get some accuracy on it too. With paper, you're not going to be able to hear the difference in the thumps. It's pretty cool to ring steel. We will get to smashing other items later on, so stay tuned for more videos on that. We will blow some things up with this gun for sure, don't worry. So first up is a 410 grain lead polymer coated round. This thing's going to smack that target pretty good. You're going to see a good amount of recoil, but this muzzle brake here really engages the gases and it helps hold that down. This thing's more controllable than you would think. It looks like it's gonna fly out of your hand, but that happens a little bit more on the heavier weighted cartridges, but the lighter you go, the more this brake is effective and actually keeps this gun down. And that's what you're gonna see with the Smith & Wesson 500, I think, is that it keeps it down even better than the normal brakes and compensators that you see on the Smith & Wesson guns. But let's quit talking, let's get to shooting. So 410 grain up. Super accurate, pretty good recoil. You feel it through your hand. It does sting a little bit. They recommend some shooter's gloves or padded, like anti-vibration glove type of things. I'm just trying to get a feel for it without those gloves for now because I just want to experience it, but it's not that bad. It's not what you would think. There's a lot of comments in the previous video, the initial video we did, about talking about this being way too much to handle. It's not too much to handle. You saw the shot go where it's supposed to go. The gun does flip because if you use these type of revolvers, that's what they do, is they flip. So as long as you have an idea of how to use them, they're not bad, they're not dangerous, they're actually really, really fun. Let me get another one of those big Bushwhacker rounds. So now we have a 520 grain round. This is gonna be a bigger beast. And now I will use the Impacto impact glove, basically. It's got a pad right here in the middle. This one's a little bit big for my hand, but I want to see what it feels like with the gloved hand. The 520 grain round is no joke. It's one step down from their highest cartridge, so you're going to see a little bit more of a reaction here out of the gun, I'm sure. But I know what it feels like from previous, so I want to see if this glove actually does help.
The gun's not even on the right cylinder, so it's not going to fire, but this is a great opportunity to show you that you have to have some trigger discipline and definitely mental discipline to get through these triggers without flinching. You don't want any kind of a flinch with a big bore revolver, or it's not going to go where you want it to go.
Still hit just about the same place. Me personally, the glove did help a little bit, I think, as far as feeling things through your hand. It didn't change much as far as flipping of the wrist, and personally, I don't like gloves too much, but I might get used to it, I might not. Me personally though, I don't think I'm going to use it right now because I think I actually lose a little bit of a grip. Hopefully that was a good demonstration for you of the recoil that is generated by a couple of these different loadings for the 500 Bushwhacker. If you look at our previous videos, you're going to see some of the lighter offerings and the heavier offerings, and you'll see two totally different, like night and day between the very light and the very heavy, but good examples. So now we're going to move on to the 500 Smith & Wesson cartridges in the Bushwhacker to see how this thing tames those down. These are my hand loads. They've been very carefully produced. That's why you see writing all over them, but it's a variety of different bullets, a little bit different grain weights, trying to get a little bit different pressures and velocities so you just see the difference of the different cartridges in this firearm. First, we're going to load a 350 grain XTP. Then we're going to load a 400 grain Platinum tip. Then we're going to load a 275 grain Barnes XPB. And finally, a Hornady 300 grain FTX. And these rounds are going to be coming out in the same order I put them in. So first up, Hornady XTP. All right, that shot really high for my point of aim. My point of aim was that black dot. That could have been me, or it could have just been the change because of what happens when you put a different type of round in there. But very controllable. That gun's usually more of a horse out of the actual Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum. The next one's going to be a 400 grain Platinum tip. All right, shoots a little high, exactly. Same thing. So, feels good again. It's not that bad. That muzzle brake really does something. It tames it down. So, this is very controllable 500 Magnum now. Let's move on to the next one, which should be the 275 grain Barnes XPB, solid copper hollow point. Exact same place of impact, pretty much the same recoil as the other rounds, but again, not as bad as it is out of the Smith & Wesson version. All right, last one up is the FTX. Now this one is loaded very hot, so we'll see how this one feels. Yeah, that one you still feel through this gun a little bit. It does pretty good, but you do still feel it. Let's take a look at the target. Not a bad little group. The FTX, I think, is the one that hit the lowest, and that was the last one. That could have been me flinching just a little bit, or that's where it went. But I was aiming right here, so they do go higher with the 500. However, with an adjustable rear sight, if you plan on shooting 500 Magnum routinely, you can always adjust for that. All right, like we showed before, here's drastic difference time. 500 Special versus the 500 Bushwhacker. We're gonna load 5 of these full metal jackets up. These are loaded really light. These have like 9.5 grains of tight group behind them. We're gonna put a whole cylinder in, and we're just gonna see how they go on the steel. These are 325 grain bullets running at roughly 1,000 feet per second. So basically the cowboy load of 500, in my opinion. That was nothing. Shot high like the other 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum did, but that was absolutely nothing. That's actually really fun. All right, I'm gonna do that one more time, and I'm gonna have camera guy focus in just a little bit more into the gun itself so you can see the actual recoil. But this is a 350 grain bullet Hornady. We just loaded it into the 500 special case. I know it's not gonna expand properly or anything like that. We're just chucking bullets at this point, but this is actually really fun to shoot out of this gun. This gun completely tames this down. I mean, this is like shooting a 38. And of course, 500 Special knocks the plate down when 500 Bushwhacker wouldn't. So let's go put that back up. Well, we lost the one part that actually makes it hang up. So let's just shoot it left-handed a couple times just for fun. Good enough. There's no way I'll hit it, but I'm going to shoot at one of the plates back there at the next set of targets. I actually hit it. That was pretty cool. So there you go. I think that was a good demonstration of the versatility of this gun. Despite what some commenters have said about this gun being useless, it's far from useless. You can go ahead and load it up with the heavy lead bullets and get some recoil out of it, and then it is a beast to manage. But you can also load it down with the lighter bullets that engage the brake properly with speed, and then that makes it much more manageable in Bushwhacker. You can put 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum in it, and this gun controls that cartridge better. It's still a 500 Magnum, you're just shooting it easily, more comfortably. You can put 500 Special in here, and basically anybody can shoot it at that point. So I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. I hope you're enjoying these Bushwhacker videos, and if you haven't seen the other Bushwhacker videos, check out our playlist. We still got more to come. So if you want to see all that stuff, make sure you're subscribed. Until we see you next time, stay safe, have fun, and keep shooting.